All right, so to start accepting payments, we're going to use Stripe. So the first thing that we want to do is come back here to settings and then in-app purchases and subscriptions and enable Stripe. To do this, you need to have Firebase set up already and you need to have enabled authentication, which we've already done in our previous lesson. And your Firebase account also needs to be on the Blaze plan. And FlutterFlow actually uses Firebase cloud functions to handle these Stripe payments. So next, we're going to need the keys. So you're going to head over to Stripe. So you need to create a Stripe account and go ahead and sign in. And Stripe actually has this cool feature which is called test mode. So you can actually start testing your integration without actually adding all details and waiting for approval. We're going to go to developers, and here in API keys, we're going to go ahead and copy the publishable key. So copy that and paste it here. And then go ahead and do the same for the secret key. So click on reveal, copy, and then paste that here as well. So if you haven't deployed yet, it's going to ask you to deploy. I've deployed before. That's why it's saying it's already deployed. And these are test credentials, right? But once you're ready to publish your app to the App Store and Google Play Store and actually start charging credit cards, then you're going to go ahead and fill this in. And then you can select is production. So this allows to start taking actual payments. So I fill this up. So this is the merchant display name, and this is the name that your client sees when they're making payments. So we can call it Yummy Delivery, the name of our app, and then the country code, we're just going to put US, and Apple Merchant ID to allow Apple payments, and this we can set up later. So now we're going to go ahead and test this. If we go to the checkout button and open the action flow, we should now have the option to accept Stripe payments. Good. And the amount, we actually already have our amount in the app state, but you might think that you can just dump that in. But Stripe only accepts the smallest unit of your currency. So if the amount is 17.38 and the smallest is actually cent, it's going to be 1,738. So I hope that makes sense. And this is where a code expression comes in handy. So you're going to use an expression. And a code expression works like a function, but can only be used in one action. If you create an expression here, you cannot use it anywhere else. So I'm going to define an argument, and it's going to be amount. And this amount is actually a double, and it's coming from the app state. Total amount. Good. And the return type, we want it to be an integer. Good, and not a list. So I'm going to say amount times 100 so that it can convert it to the smallest unit. And since the return type is an integer, I can just call this to int method on it so that it can convert it. And click check for errors. Hopefully there is none. Good. And then confirm. Okay. The currency is still going to be US. And then the customer email is usually the authenticated user email. And then the customer name usually going to be the authenticated display name. And then description, so that the user knows what they're paying for. You can just say maybe the name or just the name of the app really. And you can allow Google Pay or Apple Pay. And note that this is only going to work on the physical device or on the mobile phone. And the payment sheet theme can be the system default. The primary button, maybe we can just use our primary color as well. And actually use USD as the currency code. Okay, let's test this. Awesome. So let's go back to our restaurant and navigate to the cart and try to check out. Good. So it's asking for the card's number. And Stripe actually has a those cards that goes by 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42 until you're tired. And then the expiry date is gonna be any future date, so we can say 12/20/25, 12/25, and then the CVC can be any number really. Cool. Pay. And that's it. That's how you set up Stripe to accept payment. And if actually you go back to your Stripe dashboard and go to event, you're going to see that a card has been charged. And if you press on it, you can see some more details about the cards, the expiry date, the amount, the card number, obviously the last 4 digits for security reasons. And if you go back to the logs, you can actually see how much was charged. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is actually set up some conditions so that if the payment is successful, it will take you to the success page. And if it was not, then it's going to show you an error message or something like that. So let's go back to FlutterFlow. And on the checkout button, we can add a conditional here. And we've already talked a little bit about conditionals when we're setting up conditional visibility. So I hope you remember that when we set up visibility here. So this time we're setting up condition on an action. So if, and you know that every time a payment is successful, it's returning a payment ID. So I think we can use this. So let's go ahead and add conditional. And this is just one condition, a single condition. And you're going to say if the output, so let's check output or payment ID is set and not empty, only then, and that is true, only then we can navigate to the success page. So we're going to say navigate to success page. If it's not set and it's still empty, that means the payment was not successful. We're going to show maybe an alert. Let's say an alert dialog. And this is just an informational dialog. So we can say error. And the message can be your payment was not successful. Please check your details and try again. And you can add the button. Okay. Cool. Now, because we're creating a shopping app, so we need to create an order, right? If the payment is successful, let's create an order. So we're going to come here. Before actually going to navigate, we're going to create an order. So create document. And what are we creating? An order. And the fields, we're just going to set up the fields, menu items, and total amount. So the menu items, we're going to use what we have in the app state already. So you can set the value and say the app state, cut items, confirm, and then the total amount. This is going to be from variable as well, and app state, total amount. Cool. So right now we can just say preparing, not yet, so false, it's going to remain false. And then if the order is ready, not yet. So we can leave those like that, or we can remove them because by default it's set on false. Cool. After doing that, we can then reset the app state so that the cart can actually be cleared. So you can say update app state, and then the field, the cart items, clear it. So we're going to clear, and then the total amount we're going to clear as well. Good. And only when these two are done, then we can navigate. So let's navigate here, navigate to success. And if it falls, then we're going to see the information dialog. Let's try this again. I see I have an error here, required parameter order. Then on the success page, we need to send something. So the created order. Okay, so here we're going to say created order in the output and send that to the success page. Created order. Cool. And if you're wondering where the success page come from, this is actually available in the starter templates that are provided. And the way it's set up is that it has a page parameter called order, so the created order, and that way it's able to actually display the amount or the total amount of that order. And then it has a button to go home, and if you navigate, you can then go home. Cool, let's test this. So let's go to the cart and initiate payment and use the same test card. So 2025, and then any 3 digits number. And if you actually cancel this, then it's going to show me an error that the payment was not successful. I should check back the details and try again. So the conditional logic is working, even though we spelled error wrong. So I'm going to go back and initiate again using the same test cards. And I'm going to say 25 here. I need 3 digits and then pay. So this is going to load and actually take me to the success page because the payment was successful and it's showing me how much I spent. The order has been confirmed. To go back to the cards, you can see that my cart has been cleared.